Hello there, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about this great book, Poor Charlie's Almanac. If you're into business, investing, life, and developing great mental habits that help you achieve success in life, this book is for you. Stay till the end and you will perhaps learn a lot of great principles that you can apply to your life. Hello there, welcome my friend. If you're new, I'm Lex, and let's get to the video. Poor Charlie's Almanac, a great book by Warren Buffett's partner, Charlie Munger. We've heard about Warren Buffett, this great billionaire investor. We haven't heard much about his partner, Charlie Munger, which is an essential piece in business and part of Berkshire Hathaway's portfolio, you might say, or the great minds behind it. And I want to talk to you about some of the things that are vital from his book, at least in my opinion. First of all, is building the multidisciplinary mind. What is this? We tend to specialize nowadays, right? We just go into one field, learn everything there is to it, but stick to that little boundary, or like we box ourselves into that, and we don't go outside when in reality, the more we know, our mind can build more links in between those things, and in the end, contribute to something greater, build better ideas, breed better thoughts. And that is what Munger talks about. He talks about learning the fundamentals of the great disciplines, right? Biology, history, math, physics, chemistry, whatever it is, psychology, all these great disciplines, they have great principles that if you and we know them, we can perform better analysis or do better work, whatever it is that we do. And I find that beautiful, because in the end, the more we know, the more background knowledge we have, the bigger or more complete our map is, and the more connections we will see in the world. And that is fucking beautiful. Why wouldn't we want that? So focus on reading from different things that you're not used to reading, things that you dislike. Maybe read a book by someone that you're opposed to, right? That you're so against. You're like, oh my god, I don't like his opinion at all. Read it. Maybe you might catch something that will shift your perspective entirely, and you will build new links and background knowledge that will let you absorb even complicated, complex information and build great and innovative ideas. All right, second of all, is I love how Warren and Charlie talk about being honest and how being ethical has always paid off for them. You know, it's brought them great business. And they say that it's not about being good because it gets good business, but the other way around. Good business comes because that's what good person attracts, right? When you're being honest, when you're living up to your work, when you're committing, when you're fulfilling those promises that you make, when you're actually trying to help and become useful to people, well, it's because you really believe in that. You want the world to be that way, in a sense, right? And it matters to you. And building on that philosophy and those principles, you attract that kind of people in the world. And that just, it's a byproduct. Why wouldn't people want to work with you when you're that way? So getting those principles of what virtue and justice and wisdom is for you is vital. Because when you are solid and principle-based in the inside, you know that you can work with others because you're an independent person who knows what he or she believes in. And that's just beautiful. And communicating that to the world, like, this is what I stand for, these are my principles, and you can work with me, or you can not like them, and it's okay, all right? You might have your own, and maybe I'm mistaken, maybe I can learn, but this is what I'm like, in my experience, this is what I believe in up until now. If you like present me with the truth, I can change my opinion if I truly believe in that, and there's evidence, because we can never know we're right? We can only know that we are wrong when presented with that evidence and reality strikes. But I believe that's beautiful, having those principles, ethics, and working on our character. Reading great books about philosophy could be a good one. Drilling them in and acting on them, right? The best philosophy is the one you can practice today, where you are, with what you've got. Third of all, work with people that you love for the long term. This ties up to the ethics and principles, all right? When you know what kind of person you aspire to be, when you've got this great mentors or eminent dead people that you admire and you know what you want to work towards, you can relate to other people that you know are great models, that you can learn from them, that are fun, that are innovative and spark great ideas. And when you mingle with them, we're creatures of habit, and environment will soak up also their energy, their vibes, their ideas, and they will just compound, right? The more you spend time with someone, the more experiences you will have, the more the relationship will compound. So why not work towards that goal, Working only with people that you love and you would work a lifetime for. Same with business. That's what Munger and Warren did, right? When you read this book, you notice, all right, these guys were patient. They made only like 20 investments in companies that they truly believed in, that they analyzed and really saw the underlying value beneath the model and the idea and the people, right? Because management in the end ends up influencing how the culture works, and people are the culture, and that's what matters. Having a great business there that you love and you can bet on and not touch on it. Don't just be trading all day for the long term, committing to it. And I think that's beautiful. Same with your partner or your friends or what you're doing. Think fucking long term. Would I see myself with this person for the next 50 years? For the next 30 years? Would I be doing this for the next 10, 20, 30 years? Would I like to be living the kind of life that I'm living today, 20 years from now? And that will allow you to perform a thinking analysis or thought analysis, whatever you call it, that will maybe lead you somewhere else. Or maybe you'll say, okay, I do love this, I'll keep on doing it. But that opens up a perspective of visualizing something and then breaking it down into smaller actions that we can act upon. Number 4, invert. I love this fucking principle, invert. A lot of problems, I don't know why, especially in math, when there's this probability that we can never get to, and we're like, shit, this probability is so hard. How do we get to it? And then you just invert it, and you go 1 minus the Now this is nonsense I'm talking about. I'm just gonna switch it up. Some problems are easier when we invert them, What would be the easiest way for me to live? What would be the easiest way for me to live a miserable life? And then you think exactly what you would do. And most of the time we know what it is, right? I would end up getting drunk every day and doing drugs every day and not working on this that I love. I would live up to do what other people expect instead of what I truly believe in. I would fuck up people and step on their toes and sacrifice them to get material things that I would only get to live the rat race and impress people that I don't fucking like. Does that make sense? But performing that kind of thought analysis and inverting the situation, all right, and seeing that from another perspective opens up the opportunity to see things in a new light. And I think that is truly powerful. So performing those different thought analysis, not only what we would like to happen, but a post-mortem, right? This one, shit, what can I do to prevent it or mitigate it, is really powerful. We can see that in math as well. I'm not great at math, but I've seen some of it, so that's great. So just invert situations, invert, always invert, visualize, and then if it's a long-term thing, backwards to it. All right, this is what would happen, I would like to happen, what led up to it, or this is what I don't like that would happen, what led up to it. And now, anatomy in the end and biology are the things that limit us. We've got neurotransmitters and neurons, and we are a body that works with us in a certain way, right? It goes along nature. It's got principles that adapt and work a certain way. And if we learn about ourselves, we can work along with nature, with ourselves, instead of going against it, right? And then flogging ourselves for not being able to do this or not having the will to do that. We can work with ourselves and put ourselves in environments that work. And also go along with psychology, right? Our minds and our biology has adapted to make it easier for ourselves. And we have developed shortcuts, mental shortcuts, that influence us to act a certain way. If we read up on these, we can work with other people in a much more effective way, right? and also notice when people are trying to take advantage of us. We can notice that power game and these great shortcuts that facilitate human interaction, right? And then work with ourselves in a better way, contribute and collaborate with others, and also notice when those fucking assholes are trying to take advantage of ourselves and tell them right in the face, oh, I know what trick you're playing, right? I'm not going to play this trick. But just walk away. But we know that it's happening, and we can point them out and say, hey, I know this game that you're playing, you little shit. Or be Machiavellian about it and read a great story. But in the end, knowledge is power, and staying in ignorance is not an excuse for then being taken advantage of. So learn about that, and always be reading. I love that. This resonates with me a lot. I know that there's people that say, you don't need to read and do this, but I do believe that learning from these great books is such a great experience. Why wouldn't we be learning from a lifetime of devotion to philosophy, the nature of philosophy, the love of knowledge, when people have put so much effort in? And there's this beautiful amount of work, and we can stand on the shoulders of giants when we read other books, especially those baptized by time, right? And these great works of art that there are, in not only in certain fields, but in everything, right? Literature, psychology, biology, physics, whatever it is, and drill those down and build our own knowledge and soak it all up and see how far we can get. And just for the sake of it, for the pleasure of finding things out. So that's it. I hope you enjoy it. If you like this video, remember to subscribe. I'm going to be sharing what I'm learning. I believe that's the best thing to do when you're learning something. Hope you enjoy. Have a great day. Love you, my man or girl.